What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Inmate to Roommate Season 2, Episode 10, Time for a Change. And I think this was the season finale or series finale. No, season finale. So we reached the end of Inmate to Roommate, and what a ride it was. Let's get started with Veda, Annalise, and Mark. So it is the next day that it's the next day after that huge confrontation, that huge blowout between Mark, Annalise, and Veda because they caught two girls in the house that he had snuck into the house. So it's the day after all of that. They've already put his stuff out on the curb in garbage bags. They're ready to get rid of Mark. So Mark comes to get his stuff, and they're like, your stuff is right there on the curb. He wants to go through the room, though, through the room that he was sleeping in. He wants to go through it to make sure that he has everything. And they're like, we're not trying to keep anything that you have. Everything that you own is right there on that damn curb. So he gets upset. He starts recording them, and he threatens to bring the whole entire hood to their doorstep. So then Veda calls the police and tells the police that there's a man on his property that's threatening him. So the police come, they make a report, they get his picture, and that's the end of that. Well, 3 months after they were done filming, there is still, oh no, I'm sorry. 3 months after that, we see Veda and Annalise again, and they tell us that they have not seen hide or tail of Mark since that day when he came to get his stuff, and they had to call the police on him. They don't know if he's in jail. Well, they know that he's not in jail because they spoke to his parole officer. So they know that he's not in jail, but they don't know where he is, what he's doing, or what the hell he's up to. Even production cannot reach Mark. So nobody knows what happened to Mark. He's out there somewhere doing his thing. And Veda and Annalise tell us that they will continue to pray for Mark. They will continue to support Mark from afar. But as far as, what Mark is up to, nobody knows. Let's move on to Jason and Emily. So Jason keeps bringing people into Emily's house. And Emily's sick of it. She's sick and tired of it. So she wants him out. So she calls him a loser. Because of his record. She says something about how you're such a loser because you spent all this time in prison. And I'm like, girl, that's really strange that you use that to weaponize against him, because you knew this when you decided to bring this man into your home. So when you wanted him to help you out with your bills and whatnot, his record did not mean anything to you. You didn't care about his record. But now that things have fallen apart, now you want to use that same record to try to insult him. So Jason doesn't want to leave Emily's home. He wants to stay there because he ain't got nowhere else to go. He's got so many friends, right? He's willing to risk a roof over his head because he keeps bringing these people into Emily's house and it's pissing Emily off. He's willing to risk, where he's living because of these so-called friends. But when it's time of need, if Emily does throw him out, he's got nowhere to go. All of these friends that he thinks are so important, they're not willing to take him in because he's so worried about Emily kicking him out because he ain't got nowhere to go. So he tries to get to her good side. He says that he's going to try to get a job. He hasn't worked since 2000, but he's going to try to get a job. He's really good with art. He's really good at drawing. And he gets an interview at this graphic design place. So the guy interviews him, looks at some of his work, and if this is really Jason's work, it was pretty damn good. If this was really his stuff and he really did draw these things, he's pretty damn good. He's very talented with that. So the guy was really impressed. And Jason even tells a story that when he was in prison, whenever they would do like a shakedown, I think that's what it's called, a shakedown, when the guards come and they, look through your cell to see, make sure you don't have any paraphernalia or anything that's not allowed. They would be so distracted by his art that they would forget to do the shakedown because they'd be so impressed by his drawings. So he gets the job. The guy hires him. He's supposed to start the following Monday. So he goes back to the house and he wants to, let Emily know that he's finally got a job and he's going to try to do better, et cetera, so that she can let him stay. So he gets her breakfast, comes back, tells her, look, I got a job. I'm getting myself together and I just need you to give me a chance. So she's like, well, how much time do you need? He says he needs about 30 days. She's willing to give him 60 days. So everything is wonderful now between Emily and Jason. She even gets emotional about it and they hug it out. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is going to have a happy ending. Emily's going to let him stay for a little bit to get himself together. He's got a job, a great job that's that's within something that he's actually interested in. It's not just flipping burgers. It's something that he actually enjoys doing. I thought it was going to work out. Well, then they tell us that after filming Wrapped, Jason got arrested for parole violation. So things did not work out for Mark, and now things did not work out for Jason. Moving on to Cindy and Jennifer. So Cindy, the thing about Cindy that I thought was really interesting to me was the fact that Cindy, I think, is probably diabetic. She lost a leg, okay, I think due to complications of diabetes, but she still continues to smoke. That's neither here nor there. I've always wanted to mention that because I always thought that was kind of interesting that she had to have a leg amputated, but she still continues to smoke. Anyway, so Jennifer herself now has found a job and she's thinking about moving out. So the next time that we see Jennifer, she's actually packing up her stuff and getting ready to leave Cindy's home. Cindy comes in and she's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And Jennifer says, "I got a job and I'm leaving. I'm going to go stay with my brother," which I think is probably going to be better for me because I'll have a better chance of getting my kids back or something to do with her children. It would be better for her to be at her brother's house than Cindy's house. So Cindy was like, "Well, when were you planning on letting me know?" And Jennifer was like, "Well, Cindy, sometimes it's kind of hard to talk to you. So I'm letting you know now that I'm going to be leaving." Cindy didn't like it because it was very short notice. And Cindy wanted to use Jennifer to help her around her house. Now Jennifer's going to be leaving. So Cindy really wasn't too thrilled about it. And she felt like her going to go stay with her brother would not be a good idea because her brother lives in a neighborhood that could be very triggering for Jennifer, back to her old environment where she would always get in trouble. So Cindy was really worried about that. But things ended up working out really well because later on we see Cindy going to visit Jennifer, and Jennifer's happy. She's still working, staying with her brother. Her kids are coming over more often because we see her oldest son was there visiting her. And Jennifer showed her appreciation to Cindy for taking her in, giving her a chance, et cetera, et cetera. So that ended really nice. It ended really beautifully. Jennifer, it seems like, is still on the right track. She showed her appreciation to Cindy, and she's doing well. So good for Jennifer. Moving on to Daniel, Kathy, and Devin. So Devin's grandmother, Penny, comes over to see Daniel and Kathy. Devin had left the halfway house because the last time that we saw Devin, he had left Kathy and Daniel's home. He got in trouble and he ended up going to a halfway house. So the grandmother says that he left the halfway house to go chase a girl in Oklahoma. When he was in Oklahoma, he got arrested several times. And in fact, he's got charges pending in several states. So the grandmother said that she had to cut him off completely because she felt like as long as she was constantly helping him, he was going to always get in trouble. So she decides to cut him off completely and hopefully teach him a lesson to try to do better. Devin, we couldn't get Devin's side of the story because Devin was incarcerated in Oklahoma. So Devin is back in jail. Moving on to David and Aaron. So Aaron moved out. He said that someone had offered him a place as long as he was willing to fix up the house. It's like a fixer-upper. It's still in progress. So as long as he's willing to fix the house, he can stay there. So him and Davinia found a place. He moved out of David's home. And when David came home, I think Aaron was packing up. And David was like, "Okay, what's going on?" And Aaron says, "I found a place. I'm moving out." And David was shocked about this because he didn't know. And Aaron believes that him living with David is what drove their friendship apart. That they probably be better off. Their friendship would probably be better off if they were not living in the same home. So a couple of months later, they meet up again. Aaron is still living in this house that he's fixing up. He's still living there with Davinia. Aaron thanks David for helping him out. Aaron says that he wants to go back into prison reform. He wants to go back into activism. And David is like, "For sure, anytime. We can definitely get back on that." So it does seem like their friendship was ruined by them living together. It just wasn't going to be a good fit for them. But now that they're apart, I think they're back on the right track. So Aaron is still out of prison. He's doing good. He wants to go back to prison reform. So that story ended positively as well. And that's that. We are done with season 2 of Inmate to Roommate. which turned out being roommate to inmate for a couple of people. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.